I'm Dr. T and welcome to my office. So today I'd like to talk about extracting chemicals or separating them using a change of states. Or I should say by selectively dissolving or not dissolving some of them. So there's a couple of techniques in which we can do this with. The first one I want to talk about is called hot filtering. A lot of material is more soluble in a solvent if it's warmed up. So what we can do is take a material that is in a matrix. So a matrix is all the random junk that your material is mixed in with. In a matrix that's solid, you can take some nice hot solvent, pour it over. You don't use too much. You don't want a ton of solvent here because you want to get rid of the solvent later on. So you take some nice hot solvent and you pour it over your material and then you filter it. So that now goes through a filter that keeps the solid material that didn't dissolve up in one part of your apparatus and allows the solvent and the material that it dissolved to travel through. Now, if you used a very conservative amount of solvent, but you used it fairly nice and toasty, then what's going to happen once it cools down, it will have become super saturated and it will start to take the chemical and that chemical will precipitate out, what we usually call recrystallizing. As such, then, hey, all you have to do is pour the solvent off, and if you've picked your solvent right, you might have extracted more than one chemical during that hot filtration step, but those other chemicals will stay dissolved in your solvent. And thus, when you recrystallize it, it will become significantly purer. Additionally, when chemicals form crystals, they form their nice regular repeating structure. They like to just have that regular repeating structure formed and thus kicking stuff out. In fact, you can do this step and not actually involve any filtering. If you have some chemical that you want to purify, you can simply dissolve it in a small amount of solvent, typically warmed, and then either add some other solvent to it so that it no longer dissolves as well, or you can allow it to cool down. Or I shouldn't say or, I should say and or. Typically you cool these things no matter what. And this way the chemical of interest will precipitate out, it forms some nice crystals, and all the other random chemicals that you were trying to clean from it stay dissolved in your solvents. Obviously it's going to take some effort picking a solvent. Usually you're going to have a blend of solvents and you may have to change that blend of solvents as you're working with it. This is a technique that does take a little bit of practice, a little bit of thought to figure out how to get it to work just right. This is known as recrystallization and a classic way of purifying our products. You've done the chemistry, you've got your reaction mixture which has your product that you want, but it also has leftover starting materials. It's got other random side products that you don't want. How do you clean them up? You do a recrystallization step, and this really improves the purity of this. So with that said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in later videos.